Hello everyone, I hope you're all having a great day. I wanted to come back with another video just to chat about aspirations, goals in life, and how important they are when it comes to, having a strong vector and determining what path you're going to take. Let me use my life, obviously, as the primary example here, because it's the one I know best. It's the truth. It's true with anybody. We know ourselves better than anyone else except for God. Um, my goals in life, my goal in life, since I was 10 years old, I remember sitting down with my father after watching a space documentary with him. It was at a house that we lived in Antelope, California. He was laying on the sofa. I was sitting on the chair. So he was like right over here. I was sitting on the chair watching the credits roll in the documentary. And then he asked me, Payton, what do you want to be when you grow up? And it's kind of like the best time to ask your son, because 10 years old is, you're old enough to know the difference between becoming a YouTube star or somebody in Hollywood and becoming a medical doctor or something to that effect. But not so old as to be hardened by reality, disillusioned, if you will, jaded. So the world's your oyster. Everything's open to you. And if you're like me, which I was and I still am, I honestly scarcely care about the ramparts that are put up in front of me. So I sat there for a minute, realizing how important the question was. So I took it seriously, and he knew I would. And I turned back to him and I say, Dad, I want to be an astronaut. And to his credit, you know what he did? He didn't give me any humorous tones or derision or laugh at me or anything like that. He simply looked at me directly in the eyes and he said, okay, do it. So I did. At least I did everything I could to pursue it. So at that point, I knew the goal I wanted to attain. And from there, I could construct a vector. I realized, first and foremost, with the information that I had available to me, everything I could collect and gather up to the age of 10, I needed to do well in school. I needed to make sure that I got good grades and that I was crossing all my T's, dotting all my I's. And I did. From that point on, I got straight A's up until like junior and senior year of high school, where I took exceptionally hard classes and did a lot of extracurriculars. The extracurriculars themselves were also in pursuit of that goal. So, I was hunkering down, doing everything I could at that point to attain the goal. Kept going, kept going. My mother got me into basketball and riding my bike every day to school to get me in shape because I was a butterball when I was younger. I've always had, struggles with my weight my whole life, so I have to work really hard to keep it off. And I'm in very good shape now, but it's never been easy just because I love food and my metabolism is not super fast, so I have to work really hard to keep myself in shape. And consequently, I do work very hard. So I had the vector, did really well in school, and then I was trying to figure out more pieces of what I had to do, and I didn't want to be complacent about it and just say, oh, I do well in school and this is going to get me somewhere. No, that's not what I want to do. I was serious about it, and I still am. So I realized, oh, they're saying I have to do extracurriculars to be more competitive. So I got on the cross country and track team at my high school, my junior year. Did it late, but it was there nevertheless. And my coach, because I communicated very well with her, and to her credit, she was a fantastic coach, Terry McKillop. She made me a captain on both teams my senior year. A, because my goals. B, because of my conscientiousness. And C, because I did have leadership abilities, even if they weren't necessarily recognized by many of my classmates at the time. I'm exceedingly intelligent, so the words don't come out right sometimes. They're like brain babies, right? So I'll explain that in another video, but a brain baby is its own concept. So I did that. And I realized, oh, the way I'm going to maximize my chance of getting into space is probably going through the government route, because they have and had and have a monopoly on space travel. It's just, period, end of story. They do. SpaceX is burgeoning. They're doing fantastic, but the military and the government still has a monopoly on space travel. It's just the way it is. Anybody who's saying they don't is kidding themselves. So, okay, I need to go. The highest chance of getting there is going through the military, becoming an officer, going to an academy. And at that point, I hadn't really thought much about the Naval Academy. I wasn't very interested in it, but I was very interested in the Air Force Academy. So that was part of the reason why I started doing extracurriculars, because my junior year I realized, because I went to like a career fair or something and was talking to some of my mentors about it. Oh yeah, you probably want to go that way. So I started preparing for the cadet fitness assessment, CFAs they call it. Got myself in shape, better than I was. It's been progressively, I've been working harder and harder every point in the ladder, if you will. So comes my senior year, apply to the Air Force Academy. I had been working on the application since midway through my junior year. It's a long application process. And, a week before I graduate, I get a letter saying I didn't get in. Basically, you are exceptionally qualified is literally the verbiage it said, but unfortunately we don't have space. So I was sitting on my stairs and I was down and out, very depressed about it. But my mother was like, you still got into UC Davis. So I was like, okay, I guess I'm going to go that route. Then another week later, I get another letter back from this thing called the Falcon Foundation Scholarship. What the Falcon Foundation Scholarship is a scholarship program that has the stipulations of, if you go to a preparatory school and then a second semester college after that, then you'll have a 99.9% chance of getting into the Air Force Academy if you reapply the next year. So I did all those things, and obviously, yeah, the UC Davis was really low on the totem pole with things I wanted to do at that point. I really, really, really wanted to get into the Air Force Academy and pursue my goal. Because when you set one, at least for me, I'm not kidding. I'm very serious about it. I work my ass off. And lo and behold, a year later, after a pretty rigorous preparatory school that I did very well at, I was like top 4 of the graduates or something like that. And then the second semester preparatory or college, did Calculus 2, high-level English class, and high-level chemistry class. Did very well there. Then I got in. And then from that point, busted my ass at the Air Force Academy. The next step was to do an engineering degree and to get at least a 3.0 GPA. Because I knew that in order to be competitive to get into the next stage, the next academic program, which would be test pilot school, I needed to have an engineering degree, and I needed to have at least gotten a 3.0 in that engineering degree. They can give you waivers, but a waiver is going to drastically lower your chances of getting in. So I did that. Got a 3.1 on my undergraduate electrical engineering degree program, and I was exhausted when I got out of the Air Force Academy because it was insanely difficult. It really was. A very, very rigorous program, because they don't just put you through academics. They put you through physical fitness, military performance appraisals, overall performance appraisals. I mean, when I graduated from the Air Force Academy, I literally had 169 credits, which is enough to have more than a master's degree in any other program. A typical bachelor's degree is 120 credits, and then a typical master's is 30. So 150 total, right? I had 169 credits at that point. So the next step after graduating from the Air Force Academy was to go train to become a pilot. Get at least 1,000 hours of experience as an aircraft commander or instructor pilot. You start off as a co-pilot, so you got to go co-pilot if you go heavy aircraft, which I ended up going heavy aircraft. So you get 1,000 plus hours as an aircraft commander / instructor pilot, and then you start the application process to get into test pilot school. And if you want, you can get work on a master's degree concurrently while you're trying to get into test pilot school, because your chances of getting into test pilot school are even higher if you already are working on a master's degree or you already have one. They just like that. So I did. I applied to Johns Hopkins because I was told Johns Hopkins was the best place I could have gone, and it would really highlight me because Johns Hopkins is an incredible school, and their engineering program, especially for electrical engineering, is very good. It's very highly rated. Obviously, it's Johns Hopkins. So I got into that one pretty easily. Did 4 classes there. I had a 3.4 something GPA. But right in the middle of that, my dad had his most recent massive stroke, and I was very psychologically beaten up at that point. But I still managed to squeak by my last class there before I transferred. I got a B in it. It was optics. Could have done way better had I not had that looming sadness and frustration what had happened. But, I still managed. So I was doing everything that was required, checking all the boxes from your perspective, all the boxes up to that point. And then I had the carpet pulled out from under me and had my pilot qualification taken away. I'm still a rated pilot in the military, and I have my commercial pilot's license, but the military took away my qualification. So you have a rating, and then you have a qualification. Qualification requires extensive assessments to make sure that you're still capable. I was an exceptional pilot, very good pilot. I have very good hands. Was told that by dozens of instructors and other aircraft commanders, but they just never liked me. I don't know why, but they didn't. So that's a long story. But I had this goal, and even if I didn't accomplish it in the end, I'm still working other ways to get there. But even if I didn't accomplish it in the end, it got me really far. If you don't have a goal, you're kind of like a fart just floating in the wind. I was tutoring this child on Varsity Tutors. It's a tutoring platform that you can sign up for online. And, he's an 8-year-old kid. Good kid. Real good kid. But he didn't have a vector. He didn't know which way he was going. So he wasn't interested in anything that I was teaching him. Not that he lacked intelligence or capability. He just didn't want to do it. And then I had a chaplain of mine telling me of one of the people that they mentored, that they helped, that was having a lot of trouble figuring out what they wanted to do, figuring out purpose in life. And what I told him, and he picked up on this pretty strongly, he's like, this would probably work. Make it black and white. Let them see, either through hard experience, that whatever you can give them, or visually, like show them video of Nazi Germany or something like that, or the Auschwitz concentration camp, things like that. Show them black and white. What things will happen if you don't have a strong purpose in life, if you don't have a vector? Give them black and white. So let them see what they don't want if they don't know what they do want. It spreads everything apart, and what comes out of the middle is a diamond. That diamond being the individual. I've had to experience this myself, but the thing is, it's frustrating with me because I already knew what I wanted to do. So it's like the world was trying to teach me something that I already knew. It's very, very frustrating. I had to go through it anyway. Don't know why. The world isn't fair, but guess what? You and I are the ones that make it fair. And if we're not going to stand up and go out there and get it to be just and fair and equitable and everybody has an equal opportunity, then nothing is going to get better. You're going to have those people floating around like a fart in the wind. They're going to let everybody else, get destroyed. There's a famous quote by Einstein and many other very smart people that paraphrase it, but the only thing necessary for evil to endure is for good people to do nothing, and you will do nothing if you don't realize that it's evil. Okay? And that is part and parcel to not just my goals in life, but also what I do in my academics and my investing. You are to be a good steward of the resources that you have been given or that you have earned. Even through blood, sweat, and tears, even when the world doesn't want to give you what you've earned. And the world doesn't want to. It does not want to. It's going to do everything it can to not give it to you. So, why do I want to become rich monetarily? Because of my goals. Because I want to make a positive impact on the world and get us out of the constant hell that we live in. The constant loop of repeating the same mistakes over and over from our past. We keep forgetting them because we are not oriented towards goals. Our vector is messed up. We don't have it. The black and white gives it to you. So if I want to get into space now, I can't do it through the military, which would be massive subsidies from the government and NASA. I would be, getting trained and in a way pseudo-earning those subsidies that the citizens of the United States give to me through NASA and the military, but it's still stealing money as a military member. I'm sorry, it is. It really is. So I can't go that route anymore. But there's still SpaceX. SpaceX is proposing that within about 5 years from this date, Starship will be 100% ready and will be doing orbital flights around the moon and even landing on it. I've looked at the numbers. I'm a rocket scientist, all right? I'm an electrical engineer that did my master's thesis on astrophysics, so I'm as close as you can get to a literal rocket surgeon. And I looked at the numbers. Yes, it works. Starship really, it will do it. It will do it. It's just a matter of scale, all right? So the scale is big enough to where it can actually make it work, and very, very well. But about that time, that's when they're going to do it, about 2035, 2037, right around there. And they are saying that they will allow individuals, private citizens, to fly up in a tourism role, if you will, for between $1 to $7 million per seat. So what that means, obviously, is that I need to have cash money in my bank account of $1 to $7 million by that time, if I want to buy my seat on the Starship rocket. That's why I want this wealth. That's why I teach about wealth. That's why I learn everything I possibly can and soak it all in when it comes to wealth building. That, and also I've experienced in my own life with my parents the difficulties that they have with finances, especially when a parent has 14 strokes. My dad gets fired from his job beforehand. That's actually what led him to depression and doing these other things that gave him the stroke. So I'll be real with you. My family has gotten their asses kicked from this world. I mean, a very raw deal. My mom is supporting the whole family right now, aside from, well, I mean that leadership-wise, and I'm trying to help her out. Monetarily, my brothers all are doing fine on their own, so am I. But leadership-wise, she's the matriarch, because my dad can't really do much anymore. he's still the patriarch, obviously, but he can't really contribute much. So he can hardly talk, and he can't keep thoughts together very well. So money's needed. They say money does not give you happiness, but I tell you what it does do. It takes away 95% of your problems, and you can therefore stop worrying about them, and you can be happy. That's all I have to say today. You all have a good day, and I do hope you will continue to come back, like and subscribe the video, and subscribe to my channel if you liked what you heard. YouTube is shadow banning me, so I have a little bit of an advertising campaign going on to try to break it, but I'm probably not going to be able to. So I'm just going to tell you directly, please like and subscribe to help me out. Maybe there's a chance I could break the YouTube algorithm. If you want to know one of these days why YouTube did that to me, I can tell you later. But, yeah. Y'all have a good day. Thanks for watching.